Welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg. I'm Village President Al Larson. In this episode, we'll be joined by Joe Wine to learn about the Veterans Day ceremony. Then we'll talk to Scott Felgenhauer from the Schaumburg Jaycees, and we'll close out the program by speaking with Matt Frank from the Schaumburg Community Development Department. All of this and more today here on Speaking of Schaumburg. The members of VFW Post 2022 organized a special observance ceremony honoring those who have served in the military and those who serve today. Joe Wine is here to tell us more about the Veterans Day ceremony. Well, welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg, Joe.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, tell me about this observance that you do every year.
Sure. The local VFW Post here in Schaumburg, Post 2202, conducts a ceremony on November 11th at 11 a.m. It's Veterans Day, also known as Armistice Day in the past. We hold the ceremony at the Veterans Gateway Park at Roselle and Schaumburg Roads at 11 a.m. It's open to the public for anybody who wants to attend and watch as we honor and remember the veterans who have served in our nation throughout our 200-plus year history.
You've been doing this for quite some time, haven't you?
We have. We've been doing it ever since I've been a member of the Post here, and I would imagine they were doing it before I was born.
And how many years were you doing that personally?
I personally have been involved in it 10 or 11 years. Okay. Probably 11 years, yeah.
So you guys meet on an annual basis at the clock tower, right?
We do. We meet at the clock tower since the construction of the clock tower. Actually, it was our post and the American Legion here in town that dedicated the clock tower. And then the first Veterans Day after we dedicated that Veterans Gateway Park, we decided, hey, that's a great venue to have our Veterans Day ceremony with a short little program. 15, 20 minutes in length, but I think it's important for the veterans in our organizations to have a time where we can remember and honor the service of all of our community's veterans and across our country, the veterans.
How many members do you have here in Schaumburg?
We have just under 100 right now. Unfortunately, we're kind of a unique and elite organization. Not a lot of people are eligible to be members. And unfortunately, a lot of our membership is passing away. They're getting old, and think about World War II. It's a long time ago.
Yeah,
we're 65 years since the end of World War II, and over 50 years since the end of Korea. So our numbers have been in a steady decline over the last 10 years.
Well, how do you go about recruiting people?
Well,
and what is the criteria that you have?
In order to be a member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, you had to have served overseas in a conflict, on a deployment, whether it be in Vietnam or Korea, World War II, Iraq, Afghanistan. The biggest challenge that we face right now is that there were 20 million Americans that served in World War II. Less than 2.5 million members, less than 2.5 million Americans have served throughout the entire Iraq and Afghanistan war. So we have about 1/10 of the group to replace our World War II and Korean vets that are passing away. And on top of that, many of the current veterans who have served in Iraq or Afghanistan haven't served one time. They're career soldiers or sailors, airmen, and they've served 2, 3, 4 times. So it's different than it was in Vietnam when somebody would serve, come home after a year, and go back about their life. Now soldiers are being asked to deploy for a year, they're coming back, they're deploying again, so they're going over. They're taking multiple turns in the sandbox, as we say.
Where do you meet in Schaumburg? Where's your?
We meet at the Schaumburg the Schaumburg Barn. It's the teen center downstairs and upstairs. It's a multi-use facility. We meet there the second Thursday of every month.
How many active members do you have?
Active, about 25.
25, okay. Do you have other events that I know you're involved with Memorial Day?
Sure, we're involved with Memorial Day. We're involved with the September Fest here in Schaumburg. We're involved in a lot of things in our community. We do a flag recycling program. We're involved with the youth sports, and we're involved with the scouting organizations.
Tell me about the flag, the ceremony where you eliminate frayed flags and.
True. We have a program, and the village assists us with that program too. The village has a couple of drop boxes here, and we have them in other locations as well. And we have people that don't bring in old or worn flags, American flags, and then we do a private ceremony just with the members of our posts, and we properly dispose of those flags. It's not something we have open to the public at this time, just because it's a little messy and it does involve burning the flags. Sure. But we make sure that the proper respect is paid to the American flag. Sure. to the very end.
Where did you serve?
I was I was in the former Yugoslavia in the late 1990s. A peacekeeping mission, so I had it pretty easy because nobody was shooting at me. The biggest threat I had was a paper cut or a staple in my finger.
Well, what was your rank? What did you?
I was an E4. I was a military intelligence analyst, so I worked in an office most of the time. And I feel kind of guilty because of my entire battalion of soldiers that was there. I worked in the only office that had an air conditioning system, because we had computer systems, that had to be kept the humidity out. So I had an air conditioning system. I had a private telephone line. I had a better life than most of the officers in my unit did, only because we worked in the intelligence skiff and we had to have all these things.
How many years were you in Yugoslavia?
I was there for 8 months.
So you saw the breakup then, right?
Yeah, I was there, right? Yeah, during it, we were deployed as a preventative force to try to quell their civil war that was going on there.
Yeah, that was a messy time there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a messy time. It certainly isn't. It's nothing like what we have on our hands right now in the Middle East, but at the time it was. Yeah. Plus, it occurred in Europe. It was something that happened on the European continent as opposed to somewhere else in the world. And as Americans, we have a little different viewpoint of things that are happening to our neighbors.
And your meetings are at the barn, and they're open to anyone wants to stop by and see.
Anybody who wants to stop by, they just need to stop by and have a copy of their DD-214, which is their discharge paper. Any veteran would know what that is, and we would take it from there with them.
Yeah. Joe, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for all you do. Appreciate that. Schaumburg Jaycees is an organization that devotes time and energy to community service. Learn more next here on Speaking of Schaumburg. The Schaumburg Jaycees coordinate many community events throughout the entire year. Scott Felgenhauer is here to tell us more about what they do, and especially about their Wish Tree program. Tell us about the Wish Tree.
First of all, thanks for inviting me back again. I really appreciate it. Every time September Fest, Labor Day weekend rolls around, it really kicks off our busy time of the year. And any opportunity that we get to talk about that, it really excites us and hopefully excites everybody else in the community as well. One of our signature events that we've done for 32 years now is the Wish Tree. And that is not only one of our most time-consuming projects that we do for the fall, but it's also one of what we hope to be most impactful projects that we can do in the area.
Where is this wish tree going to be located?
Well, last year was the first time that we partnered with the Prairie Center of the Arts upstairs, and in the front lobby by the box office is where the tree is located at. And what we do is we help out about 80 to 100 children in the township with their requests for projects, for needs, for gifts that they'd be hoping to get for that year for Christmas. One of those things that we always hope for is that we could put a smile on every kid's face. We try to drive happiness, is what we say. And when a child wakes up and they have something that they want under the tree or given to them, in a whatever fashion it may be, it really does make the season worthwhile. And along with that too, from the parents or the adults in their lives, that it can be a very stressful time of the year, and if we can make sure that we're bringing down that stress and making it a happy time for them as well, it's all the more powerful.
Now, where do these names come from? Oh.
Sure. So the members of the community go through the Schaumburg Township. They get approved through them, and then those names are provided to us.
Names of families that are in need?
Families that are in need. We're not looking for somebody that makes, to throw a number out, $300,000 a year. We want those people that really have a need, and we're able to help supplement the ability for them to get gifts.
Now, it's a wish tree, and there's names on the tree, right?
Correct. Yeah, there are. So on the tree, when we get when the names come into us, we'll call and we'll get the top 3 things that they're looking for. We always look for an article of clothing, whether it's a new jacket, jeans, boots, an educational item, something, a new pen and pencil set, a calculator, a book that they like. And then also the third thing's a toy. All children usually want to get toys. And so on the ornaments that are put up on the tree, there'll be the child's age, male or female, and then what their 3 items are. We don't ask that you get everything on there. We ask that you try to keep it to about $40 to $50 total. It doesn't need to be something that you're spending, $400 or $500 on, but also, we want it to be worthwhile to the child when they wake up.
And how many families do you serve?
Yeah, so typically there's 80 to 100 children. There may be, 3 or 4 family members that are a part of the program. There may be just one. So it could be anywhere, from 25 to 60 different families that we're helping here in the township.
So people come into the Prairie Center, and the tree is right there as you come in the lobby doors.
Yep. And
you select an ornament from the tree.
Correct.
You get a name of a family and a phone number, I suspect, right?
Well, actually, they don't even get they only get what the child is. We keep all that information ourselves. We don't really want to make public everything that's going out, but we are the ones that call the families to get what the requests are, and then on that ornament is only boy or girl, 9 years old, and then what their 3 items are that they want. And then we usually keep it open about a half hour before and a half hour after shows that are going on upstairs. So it's as simple as when somebody's here to see an event upstairs, they can just stop by, get a name. We track down their name, who's collecting that ornament, their name, their phone number and address, and then we give them the instructions on this is when you can bring it back because we're delivering on this day. Here's, if you have any questions, here's our phone number. We want to make sure that they're well informed as well.
How many years have you been doing this? You personally?
Me personally, I started doing this in 2004. So I'm going on my 11th year doing it. The Jaycees have been doing it for going on 32 years. So it's something that we've done for a while. It's very important to us, and it's just one of those things that it really makes the season. For when you do it this long, it's tradition, and you want to make sure you continue those type of traditions. And something that's as like I say, I always want to put smiles on faces. And if we're doing it this way, there's more power to it. For those that do not know, we're a young person's organization from 18 to 40 to help build leadership skills through community service. I am at my last year now, so next year I'll become what's known as an associate member, which I believe you are as well.
That's correct.
And at that point, we are not a voting member, but we're still able to give back and contribute and help out in the community, just in a different capacity than active members.
How many active members do you have now?
Right now we're at 42.
Okay.
So we're getting stronger, it seems like all the time. There's a couple of ways if you want more information about the Jaycees, you can give us a call at 847-807-5276. You can also look us up at schaumburgjaycees.org, as well as our email address is schaumburgjaycees1966@gmail.com.
Why 1966?
I'm glad that you asked that. In 1966 is when we were founded as a member of the Jaycees, both on an Illinois level as well as national level. And we are actually having our 50th anniversary gala next April 16th. And that's for everybody that was a Jaycee for a month or for 20 years. It's to celebrate the ability to volunteer and give back to the community. We've done many, many good things over the years, and we want to be able to recognize that and make sure that we're continuing for the next 50 years.
Where's this going to be, this gala?
Sure, it's going to be held at the Westwood Tavern in the banquet room downstairs. And if you want to get us, what we need from you is information. You can either go to Schaumburg Jaycees on Facebook or Scott R. Felg, SCOTTRFELG @yahoo.com with your contact information so that you can get on our mailing list and get the information as it rolls out.
So you're looking for old Jaycees? Huh?
I'm looking for everybody from day one until yesterday, and maybe even tomorrow.
What are some of the ones that you captured so far, the names?
Well, Frank Kozak. He was our 9th president, one of our trustees. He's heavily involved in helping us out. The Mankas, they're heavily involved. They do a lot to work with us to make sure that we're doing that. And then, just everybody that we've worked with. We want to get as many past presidents back again. We want to make sure that, we're doing what we can to reactivate some of those people that have been associate members that we haven't seen in a while. It's always fun to talk about the different projects that were run in the past, or things that we can possibly do in the future that they see a need for now.
I suspect this is a kind of a dinner thing, isn't it?
It is. It's going to be a dinner. We're going to have a video presentation. It's going to be something that any pictures that you may have from the past. The Jaycees did a project at one point to donate the first ambulance to the fire department. At one point,
Alive on arrival.
Alive on, see, and you're aware of it. So we things like that have come around. We were one of the founding members for the Septemberfest before it got too large for us and it moved over here. Even a month and a half ago, we bought a training vest, a training suit for the Schaumburg Police Department. The police department and the Jaycees partnered to do a demonstration at Dooley Elementary School with everything, and it was a hit. I mean, the kids absolutely loved it. And so, there's a lot of stuff that we've done over time that we want to acknowledge that.
Yeah, there's some great projects that Jaycee's been involved with. There's a Jaycee Park in town.
There is, yes.
There's a paramedic ambulance vehicle that was funded by the Jaycees.
Yeah. It's exciting. It's exciting when you have the ability to give back to the community, and it's done in a way that's as easy as this. We ask nothing more than what time you have to offer. It is volunteer. If you can only do one thing a year, we have people that only come out for one thing a year, and then we have people that are at every single project we do. And it's just a matter of being able to help out. Whether it's the Memorial Day celebration over at St. Peter's, where we're rolling hot dogs. I grill up 600 hot dogs for the last 10 years. I'm the guy in the grill. So if you're at the Memorial Day, I'm the one that's cooked that hot dog for you. And
hot dogs and popcorn.
Hot dogs and popcorn. Right. That's right.
Nature's best food.
That's right. That's right.
Hey,
it's always great to see you.
Good to see you again. Look forward to that 50th anniversary.
And make sure you come out for Wish Tree too. We want to make sure that we're helping out as many kids as possible.
Absolutely. Schaumburg is the largest center of economic development in the state of Illinois, outside the city of Chicago. Learn more next here on Speaking of Schaumburg. Schaumburg is considered the place for business, with daytime population estimated at 150,000 people. Here to tell us more about Schaumburg's newest businesses is Matt Frank, Schaumburg's Economic Development Manager. Well, welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg, man.
Pleasure to be here.
Tell me about what's going on, what's happening in town. All this construction going on. I see this building coming up next to the convention center. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we've got a lot of exciting developments going on. Zurich is the building that's going across the street from the convention center. So they're building their brand new headquarters facility that's set to open September 2016. So we're excited about that investment in our new North Schaumburg TIF area. So that is kind of the launching point to attract additional corporate investment into that area.
How many employees, Zurich?
We're looking at over 2,000 employees that'll be moving out of the Zurich Towers into the new headquarters facility there. So that transition will occur next summer.
And what about the two towers? What's going to happen with those?
So we're working with the real estate brokers for the towers. They've been out on the market trying to attract new tenants to that facility. So they've done several tours with some new businesses. So hopefully we'll have a couple large businesses to announce backfilling that space in the near future.
Now, there still are people in those buildings, right, that are not Zurich employees.
Correct. Zurich occupies a tower and a half of those two facilities, so there'll still be people there, and then hopefully early next year they'll be able to announce some new tenants that'll take up significant chunks of that office space.
And the space that's there now is being occupied. What about? I mean, they're going to stay, or?
They're going to stay in a portion of it until they're ready to move into the new facility, and then Colliers is representing the Zurich Tower space. They've done tours for businesses ranging from 100,000 square feet all the way up to 300,000 square feet. So that could bring in anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 employees.
I keep seeing all these hotels going up. Tell us about the hotels. Tell us where they are and what you anticipate there in terms of rooms and room nights and.
Sure. So right now we have 25 hotels in town, which is a fantastic number, but we've got 5 under construction. So those 5 additional hotels will bring us to 30 with about 5,000 rooms. So we'll be the second largest hotel operator in the state of Illinois.
And the first would be Chicago.
Chicago, yeah.
We have more hotels than Rosemont?
We do, yes, we do. So,
okay.
These new hotels, it's a nice mix. So we've got the Radisson at Roselle and 90. So that'll be a nice improvement to that area with a new full interchange out there. Will help address some of the corporate needs and leisure needs of medieval times and so forth. Then you've got the Hampton Inn right across from Zurich Towers and Woodfield Mall. And you've got the Fairfield Inn and Suites in Marriott Town Place.
There's a restaurant that goes with that Hampton Inn.
There is, Granite City, which is doing fantastic since they've been open a couple months, and beautiful outdoor dining and great buffet on the weekends.
It's a brewery, isn't it?
It is a brewery, so they do have tapping events at the bar, and have joined the Schaumburg Business Association, been very active in the community, so we're happy to have them.
Japanese companies seem to like Schaumburg, is that correct?
That is correct. We have the largest cluster of Japanese businesses in the state. So Sunstar is a great addition.
Where's the Sunstar?
So that's the new large warehouse building next to Medieval Times at Roselle and 90. They actually just opened up. So they've been transitioning their employees from Chicago to Schaumburg. So they've got about 300 employees that work in the dental industry. So anything from your toothbrushes and flosses and rinses, but they do manufacturing, research and development, and all their sales will be out of that new facility.
Who did they buy the property from?
They bought it from the Archdiocese, so it was it's a win for Schaumburg. It was unincorporated land that was not taxed. So we were able to work out a deal that they would annex into the village of Schaumburg, and that they would help kind of spur our TIF. So with Zurich and Sunstar on each end of the TIF, those are 2 great corporate citizens to start that off with.
And Sunstar also, didn't they purchase additional land too?
Yeah, so they purchased about 70 acres, of which they're using 35 for their corporate headquarters. So there's been some discussion. They have other sister companies that potentially could move into the area from out of state, or hopefully they'd be willing to sell to a user that'd be interested in some great tollway visibility there.
Now there's some kind of concept plan that's been developed for the TIF district. Tell us a little bit about what TIF district is and what it does. And
sure. So a TIF district is a economic development tool to help bring and attract business as well as upgrade the infrastructure within an area. So TIF is kind of baselines the property taxes, and any new property taxes generated across the next 20 years gets put back into that area. So this TIF district is about 1,000 acres. So we've got projects anywhere from the new tollway ramps to water main extensions to help incentivizing Sunstar extend Central Road into the site, and then the Zurich development. So it's flexible enough that you can do a variety of projects to improve access for the residents, the businesses, and attract new investment in that property.
How's that convention center doing?
Convention Center is having its best year since it opened in 2006. So fantastic events and sales. We just had the big Mecum Auto Auction Show, which attracted thousands and thousands of people and a lot of investment. So Lisa Timbo and the staff over at the Renaissance are doing a fantastic job for us.
When are we going to get those ramps taken care of as far as Jane Addams is concerned? It's like a forever project.
Yeah, it's you have to deal with the construction to get the benefits, but next fall is when those ramps will open up. So we anticipate when Zurich's about set to open in September, you'll see the new ramps at Meacham and 90, and then the full interchange at Roselle and 90. So one more year of construction, and then it'll pay off.
Now, what kind of benefits accrue as a result of the convention center and the 500-room Marriott Renaissance Hotel? What does that do to the surrounding properties?
Sure. Well, obviously, with the new hotels popping up and the overflow from events, that's one major contributor, that you're getting a lot of the visitors and new attendees looking for other options in the nearby, because Renaissance will fill up at some of these major shows. And then also you see all the restaurants on Meacham Road. It's a huge spillover and impact to the community. So we've got several new restaurants that have come on recently. Kuma's Corner, other things on Meacham Road.
Tell me about Kuma's Corner.
Yeah, Kuma's Corner is a very hot burger place. They're known for their heavy metal theme. And so if you go to Schaumburg, which is one of 3 locations, they've got 2 in the city, and then the suburban location, they chose Schaumburg, which is great. They've got a line out the door for these fantastic, massive burgers and excellent mac and cheese. If you're a Metallica fan or any of those heavy metals, you'll fit right in. But yeah, I can go in there in my suit too and get a great meal too.
Yeah, tell us about some of the new restaurants coming in. You mentioned Kuma's Corner, but there's some other ones as well, and some breakfast restaurants.
Yeah, we're fortunate. Along Meacham Road, we've had a lot of the fast casual restaurants. The Protein Bar, Potbelly, and those guys. Recently, Pie 5 Pizza. But where the old Bally's was at Meacham and American Lane, we have a great user, Egg Harbor. So another breakfast user, which is doing gangbusters. They've opened, recently here in October. And then we've got Shop House, which is kind of the Chipotle Asian theme of the fast casual, which is, again, one of the first suburban locations in the Chicagoland market. So we're excited about them opening up here in November. So the restaurants keep continuing. We've got a proposal at what was the Baptist Press property just north of Macy's Furniture for 2 other sit-down restaurants that are anxious to get into the market. Uncle Julio's is taking over the Ricky B's at Woodfield Mall, so that's a nice land for them. And then Level 257 has been open for a few months at Woodfield Mall and doing very, very well. The entertainment destination there. Level 257 is a Pac-Man themed entertainment concept with the bowling alleys, the video games, the bar, and all that good stuff.
Tell me about Punch Bowl.
And Punch Bowl Social is taking over for the old John Barleycorn at American and National. Punch Bowl Social is a outfit out of Denver, so they've got locations roughly about 6 throughout the U.S. So this is their entry into the Chicago market. More of your entertainment, relaxed. They'll have some bowling. They'll have some of the ping pong tables and kind of a playground for, if you dream back to the 1980s, kind of that setting of.
What about retail? What kind of vacancy rates are we experiencing at Woodfield, at Streets of Woodfield, and?
Yeah, we're doing really well with our retail occupancy. So Streets of Woodfield, you're almost 100% occupied. They only have one small space there. Dick's is actually bringing a Field and Stream concept to Schaumburg, so they're going to be splitting that space into 2 levels to allow for more opportunities for our fishermen and the outdoors folks. We've got a win with Art Van Furniture taking over the old Dominic's at Higgins and Meacham, so that's great. Then Woodfield Mall continues to finish up their improvements to Center Court and the entryways, and they're upgrading their tenant mix too. So they've got.
What's their vacancy rate?
Their vacancy rate is around 96%. So they're probably.
Occupancy is 96%.
And occupancy rate, and only 4% vacancy rate. And the big win there is Zara. It's a large fashion retailer on the level of H&M, which will attract shoppers from all over the region. So we're excited about that.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep, thank you, Mayor.
Appreciate all the good work you're doing.
Thank you.
Look forward to additional new businesses in Schaumburg. If they want more information, you want to give me your cell number?
You can reach me at 847-923-3853.
Fine, thank you. That'll do it for this episode of Speaking of Schaumburg. Tune in next month for an all-new episode. Until then, I'll see you around town.